How's it, everybody? It's a beautiful day. Welcome to another's Upfront with me, Guy Hagi. Cruising around today, we figured you might want to know more about Sunrise anchor Grace Lee. How did she come to Hawaii? How does she like working with Steve? All those questions will be answered right now. And there she is. How's it, Grace? You want to go for a ride?
I sure do.
Come on in.
Been waiting all day. This may be my first podcast.
Yeah, really? Oh.
I think so.
We're honored to have you with us.
At least, I can't remember much these days. After you're on the morning show for a while, you have zero memory of anything. You're like, do you remember? And I'm like, no.
Grace, how many years has it been on for Sunrise? Because you started Sunrise, right?
So Steve and I, Howard, Billy, we were part of the original Sunrise cast.
Mm-hmm.
So 2007. So it's been 17 and a half years.
Oh my gosh, it flew by like that, I bet.
It did. And I was there for all of them except for maybe 2 years when I was in San Francisco working for CBS.
Okay.
But, it's been, it seems like a long ride, but you're right. I can't believe it's gone by so fast. But when you look at the old footage, Steve and I are babies. Babies.
And you know what they say? It's like when you're raising kids, and I feel the same way with the morning show. The days are long, but the years are short.
Yeah, it's
right?
certainly true.
When you turn around and you look back, oh my God, that was how many years ago? But every morning it's like, oh, we got to get through this.
And when we started that show, we really didn't know what we were doing. Steve and I were like struggling.
You couldn't tell. You guys pulled it off. So what keeps you going? What's your secret? I mean, there's something, right? Because it's a very difficult shift.
Wine. It's white wine. A cold Pinot Grigio. I think part of it's just, you got to find joy in what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that, what we do is hard in a lot of ways, not only from the hours, but also the live, and there's just a lot to do. There's so much work that you do in a compressed amount of time.
Yeah.
But I think that we also find so much joy and laughter during the morning.
Yeah.
And that really helps to keep the hours going. Because when you're doing 4.5 hours a day, you got to find some sort of way to be happy and find joy to get you through. And so we have a lot of fun together, right?
Yeah. I tell people that some of the best part, not only working with you guys, which our crew is flawless, right? It's incredible, like a family, but it's the people we meet on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
What a privilege, huh?
Yeah, privilege to be in Hawaii where people are so kind. Because when you work in a different market, a lot of times, especially in California, they are not very kind, And not to say everyone's nice here, because we get plenty of mean emails too.
Sure.
But for the most part, I have to say people in Hawaii are very gracious. And it's one of the reasons why I wanted to live here and I wanted to stay here, because I came from a small town in Alabama, and Hawaii in a lot of ways reminds me of that kind of mentality, of that community, and like taking care of each other and just being kind, taking your neighbor food, that kind of feeling. But one thing I have fun talking to you with, during the commercial breaks, what are you gonna make for dinner?
Yeah.
And then we trade ideas.
Yeah, I think that's our bonding thing, is we both love traveling and food.
Yes, we love to eat, and we do a lot of cooking. I think people they probably realize that about you. You should, because you've done cooking shows too.
Yeah, but I just pick up here and there. I'm a very basic cook, right? Like I make the stuff that the kids like to eat, right?
So you're selling yourself short. I've heard of some of the things you've made.
Yeah, but Grace, I don't need anything. If you have to do it with dough and meat, I'm out. If you gotta bake it, I'm out. So that's why your bread skills are awesome.
That's only because of COVID. It had nothing better to do but learn how to bake bread.
Okay, so over and above what we know, what we bond over at work, what else do you do? Because you have a lot of friends, you got a really solid network of friends here in Hawaii, local people that you've embraced, and you're never at a loss for things to do.
Honestly, we just hang out. We go to each other's houses, we cook for each other, we've had pizza competitions, one person will make the bread, we'll have a theme one night. We just have a good time hanging out and chatting and, Yeah, so the new puppy,
Yes.
because Sunny passed in July,
Mm-hmm.
so I wasn't gonna get Luca, but then I met her, and then she just stayed. She's just a really different dog.
Yes.
You can't tell right now.
Yes.
Normally she's really crazy.
Yes. Yes.
Today, an example of her
Yeah.
running around, and I'm just like, I can hear her running, and I'm so nervous about what she's gonna get into.
And Sunny, on the other hand, was like, you never even know she was there, when I got there.
Most
right?
of the time.
Yeah.
There were
yeah.
a few moments when she was bad, but they were really few and far between. This one, it's like every minute I'm so nervous about what she's gonna do.
Yeah, see, well, I wasn't there when Sunny was young, right?
You're right.
Because I've been with you guys, I think, 6 years now. So this seeing Luca go through puppy stage now, kind of entertaining, I gotta say. Entertaining and unpredictable.
Entertaining, unpredictable, and sometimes horrifying because she's my responsibility.
Yeah.
So I'm trying so hard to control her. I think that if I had been a mom, I would have been a major helicopter mom. I would have been like, hover, 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 you know?
Was your mom like that to you?
My mom was not a helicopter mom at all. I think part of like being from Korea,
Uh-huh.
she didn't understand a lot of the ways to do things in America.
Yeah.
And frankly wasn't that interested. So she either would have my older sister or brother help me,
Yeah.
or she would find people to help me, but she was not the one to help me. She was very much like, I'll drive you and I'll cook for you, but you have to figure everything else out on your own.
Oh.
And we had to, and she would dump us off on all kinds of summer programs around the world, and we had to figure it out. I mean, in retrospect, it was probably a good lesson, but at the time, it was kind of tough.
What's it like walking around town as Grace Lee? No, go ahead.
I think I have a lot more anonymity than Guy Hagi, because I have walked around with you.
They're
And-
waving, they're telling you hi.
Hi guys, hi. So friendly. See, people are so friendly here. No, the
I mean,
NFL,
you
the
still
NFL
get recognized, come on.
Oh yeah, I mean
Yeah.
we do, but
Yeah.
but people are mainly like, oh, news lady, you know, they don't even really know my name,
Yeah.
or lady with the dog, you know, I get that a lot. But you, when we were at that NFL game at the Aloha Stadium,
Yeah.
Steve and I were like chopped liver. We did a sunrise show out there. No one wanted to talk to us. No one. Everyone was like, Guy Hagi! Guy Hagi!
You know what? You know why, Grace? Because I've enticed the audience with food. It's like kids. I do food stuff.
It was actually really fun to see how the audience responded.
Yeah. So how do you handle it when somebody comes up to you? I mean, you've done it for so long now, and it's an everyday thing. Do you even have to think about it anymore?
You know, I feel grateful that we have people who even want to talk to us, right? Because I feel like they must have some sort of comfort in watching us in the morning to be able to come up to me and to say hello. Because 99.9% of the people do it because they just want to say hello.
Yeah.
Because they're nice people.
Yeah, take a selfie.
And I couldn't love it more. Like, it's great, you know? I think our show is only successful because of the people who are willing to support it.
Yeah.
Like the ones who want to come say hello to us.
Right.
We only have a job because of that.
Yeah.
So I'm more than happy to say hello. I love it when I go through TSA and they're like, hey, where are you going? How long are you going to be gone for?
Yeah, real small town stuff, right? So let's change a little bit now. So a little while ago, lived very quietly, you got married.
Oh, yeah.
We love this guy.
Jarrett, yeah.
Right.
He's a good
right.
guy.
Yeah, and he's in the TV industry too, but different. He's behind the scenes.
Right. So he and I actually met in San Francisco at the CBS station there.
Okay.
And he'd been there a long time, and I was the new one. Now, it depends who you ask this story
Okay.
from on the way that it goes.
Okay,
But
okay.
in my memory,
Okay. Which is all that counts right now.
which is the hardcore truth, 100% fact,
The journalist.
he was so mean to me. He was like, you know, I think he just didn't have any patience. And I don't know, maybe it's like the third grade thing where you're mean to the girl you like.
Pull the girl's ponytail because you like her.
But I'm like, look, dude, we're not in third grade anymore. I don't know what's up with this guy. And like, in that market, he was a part-time director at the time. He was
Okay.
doing other projects.
Okay.
And so when I would anchor a show, he was the one telling me, you got to look at this camera, you got to stand over here, you got 10 seconds to go before we come out, you know. He was that guy.
Oh no.
And he would give me the hardest time. Like, you're too short. get another box. You need to stand on another box. I'm like,
He's got to learn from Michael Harris. Kid gloves.
but yeah, so it was funny. It was a funny way to meet someone and develop a relationship that way. It took a long time though.
Yeah.
It was a slow burner.
So, but now he totally understands. You don't even have to explain the hours, the challenges, all the pressures that are unique to our jobs.
Yeah, and that actually, and I'm sure you find that with Kim as
Yeah,
well, right?
yeah.
And that it's such a unique business. Unless you've been inside, it's hard to complain properly. Just someone on the outside. When you're on the inside, it's so much faster and so much more effective because they know exactly the pain.
Oh, boy.
They put me on camera. I wasn't ready.
So is it tough for you being here and your family so far away? Because everybody else is in Alabama, right? It's just you here.
It is tough. My sister right now is in Korea.
Yeah.
My parents and my brother are in Alabama, and then I also have other relatives in Korea. You know, it's weird in that I'm kind of in the middle because I'm about to go meet my mom in Korea and my sister, right? And I'm kind of in between Alabama and Korea.
Yeah.
It's hard, but I think my parents, from a very early age, I started boarding school at 13,
Oh.
so I left home early, you know, and they did that, I'm presuming, not because they wanted to kick me out of the house, but because we lived in a small town and there weren't a lot of opportunities for education. And so by going to this prep school, I just had a lot more opportunities in front of me, and my brother and sister as well.
Yeah, you got to appreciate the cultures that value education as the way to climb the social economic ladder, right? Because not every culture is like that.
No. And then the sacrifice that they themselves had to
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
endure.
she's missing her Grace in the morning, like, where are you, Grace?
But, you know, I mean, first of all, the cost, right?
Yeah.
Of any school, as you know.
Sure.
And then because the boarding school was a 2-hour drive from our house, she'd have to drive us back and forth. So she'd drive 2 hours there, 2 hours back, move us every year, you know, bring us food, do our laundry. I mean, this wasn't necessarily an easy gig, you know. So I do appreciate that about her.
Yeah. Now, what's really cool is everybody, like, calls you or calls us at the station, go, can you MC this event? Can you do this? Can you do that? You've been doing it for years now. How do you pick which one you like and which one you don't do?
You know, I don't MC anything, Guy. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, at this point, we get assigned some stuff by the station, and then some stuff we've just been doing for so long.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like it kind of depends on the cause and what the event is.
Yeah.
You know, some of them are more difficult than others. You know, we try to, I think, give back as much as we can.
Yeah.
But it's hard because it's a whole day.
Yeah.
You know, and already we're so tired from these hours and this long show. You know, when you switched from the evening to the morning, because I know when we extended our show, I wouldn't speak after the show for like 10 hours, just trying to like
conserve and
just trying to like boost up my battery again, because I was like, my battery's dead. My mouth is tired. I am tired of speaking.
Oh man.
You didn't feel that when you started this?
I definitely, it was a big adjustment for sure. Kim was not very happy, but in the end, I ended up spending more time at home and with the kids, because the dirty secret, or maybe it's not secret, but if you're working in the nighttime news, we're talking the 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock news, you don't see your family.
Yeah.
Especially the kids, because they finish school at 2 or 3. You're at work. And then you come home at 11, they're going to go to bed. So you never see them. So Kim juggled all those things because she got out of news just to be with the kids, right? So she was the mom, the you know, basically mom, single parent, taking care of all the baseball practices, the dance recitals, and all that stuff. And I was at work just, you know. So when I started with you guys, the kids were still in high school. I got time to make up with them, right? So I picked them up after school. We went surfing a lot. Luke and I golfed a lot, and it still continues today. So Kim made the adjustment too, but she also realized that now she had more time to do stuff for her in the afternoon. So it was a good kind of thing. the landscape of news is changing.
Yes,
right,
it has.
right before our very eyes. In fact, you know, just my kids don't watch TV, and they watch it on their phone. Right, very little thing, and that's what they say about all that generation. Right, so they're not digesting what we're offering. So things are going to change with regard to our jobs as well.
Well, they're just not digesting it in the traditional way.
Yeah.
They're digesting it, and so, you know, I think the newsroom is adjusting to that.
Yeah.
And adjusting to this new world.
Yeah.
And so are we. But it's, you know, it's challenging, but it's still, I'm still surprised when stuff is happening, a big story's happening. I feel like people still tune in to the people they trust.
Yeah.
Right? And they found that to be true pretty much in any market. You see some giant fire,
Yeah.
you turn on the TV,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So I trust in that we will still be needed, just
Yeah.
in maybe different ways.
Yeah, and the good thing for us is that, you know, just job security wise, right? Local news is still very strong.
Well, especially in Hawaii.
Yes, as opposed to national cable news, which really is seeing a drop off, right? But for us, as opposed to network news, I think our numbers are still very, very strong. So I want to say thank you to everybody.
I know. We're so fortunate.
I
We're so
know.
fortunate to have people who actually want to spend the morning with us
Yeah.
and watch Steve eat.
We do really entertain ourselves on that show.
Yeah, we do. And, you know, people have asked me if Steve actually eats as much as his reputation says he does. And I'm just going to say he actually eats more. And he should be 500 pounds, maybe 600 for the amount he eats. He eats a lot.
It's an amazing skill because he can take a piece of steak, a potato, shove it down his mouth. 2 seconds later, he can start reading the news.
You know who else can do that?
Who?
A dog.
A dog.
Because they don't chew.
Like, I can't do that. I have to like chew every single little piece or else I'll be spewing something. I've hiccuped on the news. I mean, just because that. So Steve, hats off to you, man. You can do that. I just don't have that skill.
I don't know if he can take that skill anywhere else. But it's something he has learned, and he has learned well over the years.
So I think, isn't that pretty rare that you guys two are like, and then I don't want to go to the cliche, you guys are, you know, the married couple on air, right?
Yeah.
Because
The arranged marriage.
Yeah, the arranged
The arranged marriage that nobody wanted.
voluntold. You were voluntold.
Yeah, well, you know, truth be told, Steve and I were friends before Sunrise, okay? And we started the business, you know, and we used to go out and, okay, little known story that, well, maybe a lot of people know, but Steve used to love Mai Tais.
No, the bar in
Mai
Ala Moana.
Tais.
Yeah, the bar in Ala Moana. Yeah.
So this is actually a shameful secret of my own.
Uh-oh.
But Steve was so popular and well known at Mai Tais, and it would get so crowded on Friday and Saturday, right? I couldn't get in. I couldn't get in unless I dropped Steve Uehara's name.
That must hurt, Grace. That
The
must hurt.
shame,
That
guy,
must hurt.
the shame that I would have to use Steve's name to get into Mai Tais.
Oh boy.
I probably didn't even know. But
Yeah.
all the bouncers knew, like, oh, you Steve? Yeah, okay, you can go in.
If Steve knew, he would have held that over your head for so long.
Yeah, don't tell him. Don't tell him. I probably still have a stamp in if I scrub the skin off.
But what is it about you two? What is it about it that you guys get along great? It's like brother sister taunting each other. You know what I mean? It's really entertaining, but yet come time for the breaking news, you guys turn it on. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen very often, or people can't pull that off, you know, successfully. But you guys do every day.
Well, one, I think we are friends. Two, Steve, you know, he may have this kind of go-lucky reputation, but
Yeah.
he works really hard.
Yeah.
Like, he has to do that whole sports segment, and he's reading and writing just as much as I am, and so he's doing a ton of stuff outside of work. He has his kids, he has his wife here. I mean, he's part of so many different community groups,
Yeah.
and he's emceeing all the time. I mean, he does a lot more than I do. And so, you know, I think maybe there's some mutual respect. I don't know. I don't want to put words in his mouth because he's going to be like, what? No way. if you're ever in studio, there's a lot of non-verbal communication going on, and sometimes it'll actually make us laugh really hard, and then doesn't even make any sense. People are like, why are you guys cracking up? And I'm like, it's so stupid, I don't even want to tell you.
I know, I've been privy to some of those uncontrollable laugh fests.
I know,
when
it's
you guys
terrible.
couldn't even read the news.
And I'm just weeping.
And then I didn't even know what was funny. I was like, what happened?
Well, the truth is, it's not even actually that funny. It's just
Right, it's the shared experience that...
And then once you lose it and you know you can't, it's like being in church, right? And you start laughing and you know you're not supposed to. It's that, like, oh man, I can't. And you can feel it rising and you're just like, I can't. And then it just
it's gonna
bubbles
get
over.
worse. It's gonna get worse.
But it's it's a good time. I think everyone on the show it's always been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then and then there's people that have cycled out to the show as well. Lacey's now living in Kona. We miss her. Jeff Booth was on with you guys for a while.
I miss Lacey.
Right?
I miss Dan Cook.
Yeah, Dan Cook.
Dan was like my nemesis on air, and he would just taunt me constantly all morning long, and I actually really found it fun. I'm like, you gotta be brave to be able to do that constantly. 'Cause, I'm Korean. Got a lot of rage inside.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like Casey's been a great addition in that we actually prefer to torture him because it's easier because he's out and about usually doing things.
Yeah, and
So
he's
that's
such
been
a good
fun.
sport about that stuff too.
He's been a great sport about it. I'm sure he's like those anchors sitting all high and dry in there.
Well, Grace, thanks for cruising around with me.
Oh my gosh, what an honor.
No, talking about an honor. But here it is. And you didn't have anything to say.
I have nothing to say.
That was
What are we
funny.
going to talk about, Guy?
What are you going to talk about? I don't have anything to say.
I have nothing to say.
I wish the ride was longer and the podcast was longer.
Well, it was a good time.
Yeah. If Kim was driving, you guys would drive around the island and there would be no dead air.
We'd have to drive to California in order to talk about all the things that we need to talk about.
Okay, Grace, I'm going to drop you off. You can go take a nap now.
Okay, that's good. And then Luca, too.
Luca's been on such good behavior.
She must know she's on camera. She's not normally this good.
Okay, we got to put her in camera more often.
But good job. Good job. It could have been so much worse.
Mahalo for listening to this episode of Upfront with Guy Hagi. Download for free and listen anytime wherever you get your podcasts.